summer day. Everybody's in a good mood. A perfumey breeze is swinging in from the south. La-di-da! Then, you go out to bring in the mail. What's this, you gasp, staring at a black envelope in your hands? You rip it open, trembling all the way to your elbows. Furnace explosion planned, it says. 2 o'clock today. Or maybe, head-on collision with a Peterbilt truck, Washington and 4th Street. Or, tornado on Tuesday. If people got notices like that in advance, it would save a lot of trouble and grief. It's those black surprises that get to you. Those things people call acts of God because they have to blame someone. My all-time worst black letter day was June 3rd of last summer. There were no notices mailed out on that occasion, for sure. There were no indications at all. 20% probability of thunderstorms toward evening was what the local weatherman said that morning. So what's new? Mom talked back to him, poking another spoonful of cereal in my baby brother's smiling mouth. To tell you the truth, the weather was the last thing on my mind. Arthur and I had big plans for that Tuesday. Crafts class first, at my Aunt Goldie's place. A couple of hot burritos at Taco John's after. Later, a bike hike out to the Platte River and a swim at Mormon Island. According to my Grandpa Hatch, the best swimming in south-central Nebraska exists right there, where the big island separates the Platte. With school out for good, Arthur and I were planning to get in on some of it. Unless you count the long, cirrus clouds strung across the morning sky as Arthur and I pedaled off to Aunt Goldie's, there were no warnings at all that day in June. None. 5 o'clock. Arthur and I rolled over on our backs on the warm sandy beach at Mormon Island State Park. We'd just had our first swim of the summer, and now it was nearing 5 o'clock. You plan to keep going to that crafts class? Arthur asked, putting his hands beneath his head and gazing up at the sky. Now I ought to mention right here, at the beginning, that my friend Arthur is no ordinary human being. He's smart, he studies things. As Arthur himself says, he cogitates. I could tell by the way he was squinting into the sun that he was thinking hard about something. Miss Stevens, our social studies teacher, pointed out in class one day. "Arthur," she said, standing between him and the window, "you just have to be the original Gazer. Tell me, honestly now, what are you pining for out there that you don't have in here?" "Freedom," he said, not sassy-like or anything, just stating the facts. Now lying next to me, he was outlining cloud patterns with his big toe while he gazed. I raised myself on one elbow. "Don't you like crafts class?" I asked. "Not much." I poked finger holes in the sand. "Heck, maybe Aunt Goldie had a stomachache today." "Ha! Maybe she swallowed a prune." "Including the pit?" "Pit too," I said, and the hairy green worm curled up next to it. That would give her an awesome bellyache. I've never heard of a prune worm. I rolled back onto the sand. Arthur would probably go home and look up prune worms. He has books on everything. Birds, trees, flowers, insects, amphibians, prunes. "Bring some Indian crafts ideas when you come," Arthur said, mimicking my Aunt Goldie. So I took my idea. She hated it. She was thinking of basket weaving or pottery painting. You know, something regular and Indian-y. She'd never even heard of a bull roarer. She thought I made it up. It's a toy Indian kids used to make, for crying out loud. That thing is authentic. If I'd called it a thunderstick instead of a bull roarer, maybe she'd have, I guess you shouldn't have demonstrated it, you know? Right there in her basement, under that electric light bulb. I circled my wrist overhead, winding up like some champion calf roper. Then I broke out laughing all over again. Once Arthur got to swinging that bull roarer around his head, once it started whizzing and roaring like a whirlwind, we couldn't hear anything else. Until the sheared-off light bulb landed on the ping-pong table, that is. "Shut up," Arthur ordered. I controlled myself. I didn't want big old Arthur to sit on me the way he